I believe your joke went, I'm pretty sure my brother-in-law's beating my sister. I don't have proof, but her cooking's gotten a lot better. Did I get it right?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Pretty good for years, bro.
I remember I was going to do that joke on Premium Blend. Like the first like TV appearance, I had like, here's my list of jokes. And I've got maybe like 15 jokes. And they're like, you can't tell this joke. And I'm like, listen, this joke is like, this joke works. Like I understand it's like domestic violence,
and
but
it's
like
also
the way
so
it's so
absurd.
silly and
Yes.
absurd. Like let me talk to standards and practices. And they get me on the phone with these two women on like a speaker call. And I'm trying to convince them that this is funny. And they're just getting madder and madder. And they're like, I get it. It's like a joke your like uncle would tell who's not very funny. And I'm like, so that makes me mad? And I'm like, no, this joke is fine. And they're like, it's about women getting beaten. And I'm like,
No.
okay. And finally they were like, you know what? We'll let you do the joke and we'll see in the edit. And I was like, I know what's going to happen. You're about to cut this out, but I will never defend a domestic violence joke against two women ever again. It's like,
it's not really domestic violence because what you say is, I'm pretty sure there's doubt here in the setup.
Yeah. She may have just gotten better at cooking.
But hey, I know one thing, cooking's better.
Yeah.
I'm not saying... Yeah. But I am saying this.
I even think I haven't seen any bruises. You know, it's like there's nothing like if the only evidence is her cooking's gotten better. That I was like, no one's getting
just discovered garlic.
I was like, no one's getting beaten in that joke. You know what I mean? Like,
You're not sure. Nobody.
Yeah.
But people are eating well. And that's I mean, come on, man. So that was the one I really loved. And I, like a moron, was at a writing gig and I told that joke and there were 3 women in the group who might have been on that same call, did not and I was like, nah, listen. They were like, we don't want to hear it. I was like, all right, I'll just go.
Oh, anytime I've been like in like a car or something and like the driver's like, what are you're a comedian, like tell me a joke. It always goes so badly. Like unless you like get to see the whole movie, you know what I mean? You're just like,
of course.
Here's a scene of someone getting murdered. They're just like, this is horrifying. But if you like watch
that
the
guy
movie,
raped 9 kids. You're like, oh, okay, justified.
Yeah.
The other one too that I still tell it is, and I'm close on this one, I think, is I told my mom that when I turned 18, I wanted to get a motorcycle. And she said, absolutely not. That when my uncle was 18, he died in a horrific motorcycle accident and I could just have his.
I mean, your timing is way off, and the wedding's not perfect, but people get the point. Yeah, that was like my first joke where I was like, oh,
that's what
maybe
I remember
I'm good
then.
at this.
Yeah,
that was the first one that was like,
that's what turned me on to you. I would sit in the back of the World Cafe and be like, who the fuck is this guy? You've always reminded me of like this, like a dark Stephen Wright. You know, and you did it your way. I remember hearing a story about you submitted your jokes for your half hour. You didn't even shoot. You just, because it's one after the other, you just wrote them and submitted it that way, which I don't think anybody had ever not only done. If they did, they probably looked at them like, who's this fucking moron?
They would, because they would take the tape and then they would transcribe it themselves. And I was like, let me just do that for you. Yeah. I know exactly what I'm going to be saying. Here you go. That way they couldn't, like if they got mad about a joke, I would say if you heard it, you would be okay with it. And they'd be like, okay, you can put it in and we'll edit around, whatever. But like, I remember my half hour, they edited out the motorcycle joke. It was my second joke. And I was furious. I was like, that's one of my best jokes ever. And you took it out for time? Right. For time? Like, oh, the half hour. God damn.